Hello everyone, this is Kathy from the Daily Marker, and today is day 1 of the 30-day coloring challenge. I'm so excited you're here. Today we're going to create this super dimensional card with some die cuts and markers, and the most important part about this card is that I am not using Copics. You could use a Sharpie, you could use Memento, anything you want. Now these die cuts are from My Favorite Things, and I'm grabbing 3 colors of Memento markers. I've die cut these on some Neenah 110 cardstock here, and I'm just, as you can see, basically scribbling some color on with these 3 different markers. These markers are nice. There's a brush tip on one end and a fine tip on the other, and they're wonderful for coloring books. You could buy them in like a set of 3. So later I'll have all the products in the description area, and there'll be a lot more information on my blog. So let's go ahead and finish coloring these leaves. I'm using the 3 different colors as I mentioned, and just putting that color on any which way. Now I've gone ahead, I've sped this video up a little bit, but this is very basic coloring. You could use a Sharpie on this. You could use any markers that you have around the house. Crayola, there's so many different kinds. Bic. The broader the tip, like this is a brush tip, the broader the tip, the quicker the color. So just keep that in mind. But I prefer brush tips. That's my preference, and they work great on coloring books. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit more just while I put the color down. Actually, maybe I won't do that. Let me talk a little bit about the challenge while I'm coloring this. The 30-day coloring challenge, this is my 4th one, and today's number 1 of the 4th one, and it is open to anybody. And that's what I love about this challenge. Anyone can do it, and my hope is by the end of the challenge, you will feel successful with your coloring. You can color with anything. You can color with a pencil. You can color with watercolors and any other colored pencils, markers, brush, just dip a brush in some acrylic paint, whatever. Even needlepoint, you're adding color that way too. So just be creative and use the supplies you have on hand and just go for it. Now what we're going to do here is once all of these different elements are colored, we're going to be adding some shading. I know a lot of people are intimidated by adding shading to their Copic coloring, and you might not realize, but you can add shading to just your regular typical markers. So that's what we're going to do today, and I think it's pretty fun. Now on my finger I have a dauber and I have some Distress ink here. Take any green that you have, or brown, and what I like about a dauber is you have a lot of control, and I'm just kind of focusing on getting more of the color on the ends, on the tips of the leaves. So I'm just kind of hovering on the tips. You can see the difference. Now I flipped this over because I want the color to reach all the way around the edges. See that little white line? The Distress ink is hiding that white edge, and sometimes it's easier if you flip it over and then move the ink around to hide that white edge. Sorry about my arm there. I guess I'll just keep that in. Now I'm taking some gathered twigs. Take any brown you have, and I'm just working a little brown on the tips. So first we added some green, kind of an accent green, and some brown. And I'm just making sure I have any white covered on the back because it kind of moves on the side there. So there you have it. It looks substantially different than it did. See the difference? You can see the white on the right. Now we're going to do the same thing. I use the 3 color markers So I'm first doing all of the darker green that I colored, and I'll be doing the exact same thing on everything. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up to save you some time. Okie doke. Now while you watch me add some shading to the rest of these leaves, I want to start talking about building the card. And I wanted to build a card with a lot of dimension, like you're looking into those things. Let's play charades. It's like a tube with a kaleidoscope. Is that it? Okay, anyway. So I wanted lots of dimension. When you look in, you'd see like layers of leaves. So what I've done is I've cut 3 panels of cardstock, and I use this tape here so that each circle, I have 2 circles here, and I'm showing you the one, and then I'm going to add another one on top of this. So I use that blue tape to line everything up so that the circles were in the center. Now right now I'm coloring the friend, the sentiment, with some of the green Memento marker. Use your Sharpie, use whatever you want, just getting that color down. And then I'm adding some shading. I want it to look similar to the leaves, but just a tiny bit different. So I'm doing the same thing I did with the leaves. I'm not adding any brown. And then I realized I didn't love the green. So I'm going to use this as a bottom layer, and when I glue my white friend die cut on top, you just see a little bit of the green peeking out, and then there was 2 areas where the paper didn't pop out, so you'll see that. Now I've cut some foam here, and it just took longer to get all the little frays from the foam, get those off. I was just like, forget this is taking too much time. So I ended up cutting like 4 more of the friends and paper and just glued them all together. I just didn't have the patience for the foam and those little rough edges on the foam. I don't know if I just needed to use a shim or something. I don't know, but I just, sometimes if it doesn't work, I'll just do something else and solve the problem. So, but the foam works great for so many other different applications and larger things. So I glued them all together with Glossy Accents. Glossy Accents is the only glue that I use. And if I don't have a pin around, I'll use my paper piercer to adhere everything. So sorry, we're off the screen there. So I wanted, you can see here, the green is underneath and my built up layers. All I did was use foam tape. Now this is some Pure Color dye ink from W+9, and I'm using my favorite thing, Sentiment, the Hello. I'm gonna cut that out and put it on top. And I haven't inked this up before, so I'm just getting the most crisp image here. And I'm sorry, it's a little bit off. I haven't done a video in a while. And I'm a little rusty, but I really wanted to do one for you guys for day 1. So you just saw those. Here's all the friend sentiments, and see all these little things I was talking about? So I just went ahead and cut that paper. There are die cuts that match this sentiment set, but I'm just gonna free cut it, super easy, and add some foam tape to the back, and then I can layer it butt up close next to my large die cut here. Sorry, I'm off the screen, bad me. But see how that looks? Once I'm off the camera, it's easier to use. Now this is a Martha Stewart punch. I love it. I'm using some lighter weight cardstock, and I'm just gonna position these butterflies around my card to add a little bit more color and a little bit of interest, just to kind of balance and round out the card. So I really hope you like this card. I hope you think it's worth a day 1 card. I used this, it's got wax on it, to help me pick up my butterflies and add just a dab of glossy accents on them. So super easy, just a nice little effect. And I might like to add, clean up your work area before you start doing this. I got a little dab of glossy accents on my card, and just having the distress ink and stuff around, you can pick up on your fingers and get on that white area. Now I like to use a paper piercer to stick my butterfly down and then kind of fold up the wings. And I hold it down there for like 3 seconds to make sure it's dry. And that always works super good. So tomorrow I'm going to be back. Before I do, this is how the layers look. And there's my finished card. And tomorrow I'll be back with a star-studded blog hop. Lots of inspiration. So hop over to my blog and see the other details, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2. Thank you.